Hi, welcome back to another segment of Veterans Did You Know? I'm Dave Eling, and the Director of the County Department of Veterans Affairs, and my special guest today is Lil Spyke. And Lil is the spouse of a Vietnam veteran, a very good friend of mine, as Lil is also. And Lil and Wes have the Common Ground Ministries, and they go out and they work with veterans and their spouses, the wives, with all kinds of issues. And the biggest one we kind of deal with, because it was close to home, was the PTSD. And it's the spouse who's always been left out or no place to turn to get the help. And so Lil, bless her heart, we sat down one day and when she was talking with me, she said, "Dave, I think I'm going to," I said, "Oh, be careful what you ask for, Lil, because they will come." And she said, "Well, I'm going to keep it small and we're just going to really keep it controlled." And what Lil did, she worked with some other spouses, some other ladies that she's going through the same thing. She had personally her own little inner group. And they said, it's the right thing for us to do is to reach out, because it's helped us, and we know there's so many out there. So tell me about your little group. And where you meet and how to get into it.
I'd be glad to. I started talking with women on an individual basis, and there were probably 3 other women that...
Well, they would come to you.
Yes.
You'd be in a situation or a place where folks would gather.
Exactly. Various motorcycle groups and clubs, veteran groups we belong to. And we would talk, and we talked more and more often. And they did not know one another at all. But I brought them together at dinner one night and said, this has gone on for about 3 or 4 years now. I think it's time to bring you together to meet. And
because you were counseling or confiding in one-on-one with different ones, and you think,
about 3 years.
Yeah.
And though our stories are all different, they're all the same in many ways.
The common denominator was the cause,
the veteran, combat vet, and experiencing many of the same things. So they were very excited about that, and they expressed
the dinner or the coming together.
No, both. But they expressed.
We get together.
Yes,
girls' night out.
It was girls' night out. It ended up. I thought, well, they don't know one another. Maybe an hour, and we'll be doing fine. I think it was 3 hours. Yeah. It was awesome. And then I said, I'm going to go talk to Dave and tell him what we're thinking about. And so I came and talked to you, and we talked about various locations, and people came out of the woodwork. I was just surprised. I had a call from the VFW over on Grand Haven Road who called and said, "We heard about what you're doing, and we'd like to offer our space," which was very kind. Yeah. And then
you were at the vet center downstairs. We talked about
that. You offered this situation here, this room, and then we had Post 9. American Legion, which is on the corner of Seaway and Hoyt Street in Muskegon Heights.
Used to be the old Chinese restaurant right down there on the lake.
The women know it as Friends Clothing Store. Yes.
Way back then, it
was Friends Clothing Store. Yeah. And then they'll know what it is. Yeah. But the women felt that was easy on and off access.
So about the middle of the county, if you will.
Exactly. Some are coming from the Grand Haven area and others are coming all the way from Whitehall. And so it was easy on again, off again. Yeah. And we meet there every other Tuesday night. Our next meeting will be May 15th. And we meet at 6:30. We're sure to only go an hour, at which time, if you have something else, we stop and say, we know you have to leave. We have people that have jobs that they have to get back to even.
Or kids, somebody's watching the kids or has some.
Exactly. So, but it ends up they hang around and they talk. And, no one knew each other. None of us. And we have new ones every single week walk through the door. That's what's so special. Every week are coming through the door.
Many of your flyers I've handed, people say, "Oh my God, I needed this. Where is it? How do I get there? I need this so bad. I want to talk or I can contribute." And I'm thinking, my goodness. And I said, you're going to have bigger and bigger. But then you got to be careful that you don't want to lose the intimacy of you don't want to be that one person who walks into an auditorium of people.
No.
Thinking, okay, this is way more than I thought.
We have that all covered if that happens now.
You have that intimacy where you can walk in and by your nature, you make people feel the comfort level there. And then as soon as they start hearing the lady speak and they say, "This is common." Like I said earlier, I said, "You've been sitting in my living room listening to what's going on with us, because what you're saying here is like exactly what, guess what? Every veteran out there that has post-traumatic stress that's controlling their lives or influencing their lives negatively the spouse has been experiencing the same thing. There may be variations, or one area may be more amplified than another. It depends if there's kids or not kids, or what your reactions are. Are you a volatile person? You're going to give as good as you take, or are you going to be the meek one that lays back and just be the big sounding board? And you can't do that forever either, because that just beats you down as a person, as an individual. And so where's that happy medium, and how do you do it? Yeah, so.
Right. And we are very, very fortunate that we have a wonderful staff here at the VA Center, and they have been coming as guest speakers, and that is excellent. Derek, who consuls here, has come to join us. We had who's now a volunteer service officer. He's working out of Ottawa County, but he came to speak about benefits and everything that were very confusing to a lot of people. You're on the agenda coming up soon.
I'm so happy to hear there's no husband bashing.
No husband bashing. No, that's number one rule. That's the number one rule. There is no bashing. No. So it's exciting because these women are learning so much of the new information that they're sharing with other veterans that don't even know.
Yeah.
They're learning about Agent Orange. They're learning, what symptoms and health symptoms. There's wisdom and knowledge, and that's what we're trying to do, is put as much education out there. But again, it's when Wes came walking through the door one night, I had one of the ladies say, I've known him for 10 years, and I don't think that man could possibly have post-traumatic stress. And then when he left, she said, why? Why is it different for him? I know he saw a lot in Vietnam. He did a lot in Vietnam. She doesn't even know half of it, but why is he different?
Yeah.
And that's when we can share with them that our life wasn't always that way.
Yeah.
It wasn't always that way.
But like you said, sometimes, and I know Wes, I've known all my life, we grew up together, is the comedic part. And so you can cover a lot of stuff with comedy, or you just just become quiet.
Yes.
You just become quiet, and you can pull back and pull away and pull back. What's going on? You just got that 1,000-yard stare here. Where are you?
And
You're
a woman doesn't understand that. You're not communicating with me.
Why are you paying attention to me? What, you don't like me? I'm not attracted to you anymore?
Exactly. That's the way a woman takes that.
Exactly.
Where a man just simply doesn't want to go there. I'm handling it. I'm just quiet.
Honey, that's like your fourth beer, is that, or fifth? Or don't worry about it. I know what I'm doing. Type stuff. I'm just self-medicating, because then you get that level, but that's just creating more problems. That just throws another layer of distance between
them.
Yeah, just keep pushing apart, and boom, it's over and done. And I don't know, people got divorced and say, like I said, I really love that individual, but just I don't know what happened. I don't know why we just didn't. And I'm sad that it didn't work out. I'm sad for my children, and like you said, your girls had brought up the point, said they don't understand it. I don't know how many. I've met so many kids that through school or whatever else or classes, they find out what PTSD is, what the signs and symptoms are, and I've heard, so that's why my dad was the way he was.
Oh yes, we have women in our group
that explains
who
all
put that
my
together.
Life. Yeah, I wondered why, and now I see.
My father.
This is why. And then you have a kind of an empathy or a sadness, or for the lost years, or for the lost marriages, or for the lost relationships, or for whatever the case may be. And then you get angry at this stupid, what made that happen? What was the common denominator? Oh, that war. Because he went over there and did that, served the country, and came back, look what it cost us. And that's the collateral damage of any war. That's collateral. They said Johnny comes marching home, well, you may have a leg gone or an arm gone, he's back, but he got PTSD, but that's a gift that keeps on giving that you don't want. It keeps on giving and destroying. And all these years down the road, as a Vietnam vet, some of them, many still haven't come in, are getting grasped with it. Now we got all these kids coming back, and I call them kids because they are, Afghanistan and
Iraq.
Are. So do you have the younger spouses coming in from any Iraqi vets or Afghan vets coming in?
Not at this time.
Okay.
Not at this time, we haven't, but we're hoping so. And our purpose is not to mother them.
No,
we're not there, to mother them.
No.
We are there to
educate them.
make them be aware of. You'll probably see this. These are some of the symptoms to watch for. Had a father call from Texas and wanted to know their son had just returned and he wasn't the same.
Yeah.
We know he's not the same. This isn't the same boy we sent over there. What should we be looking for? What what is it and what should we do? And I told him to get in contact with the VA center right away in his area because they were from Texas. And then just chatted with some of the symptoms of post-traumatic stress, the anger or
isolationism,
little things you don't think would set off, and why is that happening? And he said, we're seeing that. We're seeing those things. And so we never knew that's what it was, but we want to be aware. So I think that is one thing for the Vietnam vets that kind of paved the way for post-traumatic stress, and it took many, many years. But you know what? It's wonderful that we know what it is and we can identify it now.
And we don't want to replicate it. And I think with the men's support group, I know it meets here. We got 2 that meet here on Mondays, Wednesdays, and there's a female veterans support group.
Yes.
Actually, the female vets who have post-traumatic stress is something we've never dealt with.
Whole new issue.
Exactly, and you know, people don't realize that 14% of the fighting force in Iraq was female. So now we have females coming back into the relationship with they have the post-traumatic stress,
and they have children
and what is
that receive that.
Work out? But we're seeing in the support group the younger vets, the Iraqi vets and Afghan vets, who would be like our kids, are able to sit down with the older vets and say, and as you start talking, say it's the same. It's a generation apart, but it's the same cause. And if you don't get a handle on it now, you're going to be like us in your 50s and 60s on your second or third marriage and still messed up and wondering what's going on, because it will do this to you. It will do this to you. So hopefully, if you're the spouse of Iraqi or Afghan vet, and you're sitting home there and you're watching this, you're thinking, wow, I'm seeing some of that stuff already, because these guys and gals have been back since 2003, 2004. They've been percolating, and you see this change, and it's not getting better. And so number one is to get the vet in. And most people, the vets come in to seek treatment for mental health problems, are another vet, the spouse who says, that's it, there's the line in the sand, you either go get help or we're done, or a mom who said, oh, no, my son, you're going to get help, and they bring him down here. And then once the vet gets in and they realize themselves, just like when the light goes, I said, I'm not alone. I mean, they broke down and cried. They said, oh, there's help. There's somebody out there who's going to help me.
Yes.
Well, then there's not only you, but it's you, and it's the mom, it's the dad, it's the brothers, the sisters, the kids. It affects everybody who is associated with that individual. It's not just one. It's the whole family's affected by it.
Exactly. So, and our group is not just spouses. As you mentioned about divorce, we have several that are divorced, but they're in the group.
Yeah.
And they're in there because they are blaming themselves for a lot.
Exactly.
Maybe their ex-husband has come down with cancer, and from Agent Orange, a lot of things they didn't understand in the last 30 years,
And that love was still there.
But they're coming.
Yeah, I tell you, a lot of them come in here. I see these older vets that are in their age, and they say, "Well, I'm his ex-wife, and but I still love him. I still take care of him."
Right.
He
that happens.
He passed away, so they just kind of get back together because she always felt this for him, and then she understands. Maybe said, maybe I should have done more. Maybe I hope it's not a guilt thing, but it is a little bit of a guilt thing. It's but you see that look of wasted years. Oh man, how many years did we?
Right.
Well, we could have, what would have, could have, should have. Well, it's never too late to have something. You can mend a lot of fences, hopefully. You can get a depth of understanding. And for goodness sakes, we can prevent this from happening to another generation that's coming right behind us here. That's the other part of it.
And there's a lot of forgiveness in that. Yeah. And the forgiveness is what is very hard. It was for Wes. I mean, when we became Christians, he knew what it meant for forgiveness, and he put it all out there and felt that was forgiven, but he didn't forgive himself.
Yeah.
That's where the line is that a lot of veterans get right up to and they don't cross over
it, yeah.
Because they don't believe they can be forgiven.
Yeah.
They just don't believe they can be. I did terrible things.
Yeah, horrific things.
I did horrible things. I can't be forgiven. And I said, I think my husband was a Christian for 20 years before he
Well, I think it challenges anybody's faith or psyche as an individual. Because you go back and you say, well, what'd you do over there? He said, well, I can't tell you. Because you'd be shocked. You'd think, how in the world, what kind of an how could I do that?
You think terrible
because
of me.
I'm shocked by what happens sometimes or whatever. How would you do it? And you can't explain it, so you just kind of, Yeah, you are. You're right. That is that. So it's that reaching out, and what I love about you guys is it's not this. It's not religion in your face. It's not like even Jesus Christ is your Savior, and blah, blah, you know. It's not that. It's just calm. It's cool. This is who we are, and I see in both of you this serenity. This comes out of you.
There's a peace and joy you can find.
Look at somebody else who says, "Well, there's something more. There's something to this," because look at them. Look at them, and I can see that in you guys. So
well,
we're going to take another quick break, and we'll be back in just a minute. Stay with us, please.